Well then, it's been a week. Doctor Who has sailed away from its 60th anniversary as we are full steam ahead to Christmas with Ncuti Gatwa's first episode. And we thought we'd just take a minute to appreciate and discuss the wider anniversary as a whole, plus a little bit of a recap of our thoughts of the specials themselves, because it's been a bit of interesting discussion around it, really, isn't there, in terms of, was this as good as the 50th? Was it a celebratory? Was it, did it live up to the hype, etc.? So I'm going to pass to my learned colleague. Thoughts?
Learned?
Yeah, I was being nice. It's Christmas.
Fair. I was going to say that's bold. It was definitely different from specials we've had for the anniversaries in the past. But I like it. I liked how it was done. I like that we got a 3 as well. That's always nice. You can't have too much Doctor Who. Yeah, no, I understand why people were a bit meh about it.
I think the only thing that's really got people feeling that way is because of the expectation to have classic Doctors and Companions back. But we kind of did. Because we had Mel. And she's coming back next year as well, almost as like a recurring character now, essentially, which no one else has been when they've returned. It's always been a sort of one and done kind of thing.
Yeah.
All right, people have gone off to have, Sarah Jane had her own show and everything, but it wasn't, like...
On Doctor Who itself, it was just...
I mean, Sarah Jane popped up a couple of times, I guess, but it was only the big, crossovers. Looking back, I think I've almost... The things that were bothering me still bother me a little bit, except for the bi-generation, which I have now fully come to terms with and quite like. Because when we reviewed The Giggle last week, I was saying, it's a bit, it's still a bit vague and we don't know enough about it and everything, and why Ncuti not got the original TARDIS, but apparently he does anyway, and, that sort of thing, and the inability to retire David Tennant. But I think that I've come to a point now, because what was bugging me is because I thought this has never been done before, and, last time Doctor Who did something like that, it was The Timeless Children, and, that was just changing things for the sake of changing things with no real consequence or like emotional weight or anything. Whereas this bi-generation is changing the future. It's not changing the past, it's changing the future. It gives a finale for Doctor Who up to that point, and it sets the stage quite nicely for Christmas and the new era going forward, which is when this new era is really going to kick in.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen that comparison between The Timeless Children and the bi-generation. And people are like, oh, they're just doing the same, they're changing it. The bi-generation doesn't actually... It expands on the lore and everything. What they did with The Timeless Child was completely rewrite 60 years worth of Doctor Who for the sake of it. And while I'm glad they haven't just like kind of swept it under the carpet, never to be seen again, part of me still wishes they would.
Yeah, I mean, I'm quite glad that we've had some kind of emotional payoff to it now.
Yeah.
We've had that come up in Wild Blue Yonder and The Giggle, and it's just another example of all the things the Doctor's been running from. And it's the bi-generation's already had a bit of an impact because it's the thing that allows the Doctor to just sit down, as the 14th Doctor, to sit down and rest and go, I can calm down now. While Ncuti Gatwa as the 15th Doctor goes off and does the doctory thing of running around saving the day. And that's why I think I've come to terms with it, because there's already been a clear emotional thing to it. I'm sure like the details of it maybe get expanded, and even if they don't, it doesn't detract from the fact that I feel in the space of a week I've completely come around to it, and I've only watched it once again since. So fair enough. I still feel the Toymaker was defeated a bit too easy.
Yeah, I was expecting something a bit more grand.
Yeah.
For the last episode with his defeat, because he is such a big bad.
Yeah, but we could see him again. We know. If you had to pick a favourite of the 3, can you?
I would go with The Giggle.
Fair enough. I think I would go with Wild Blue Yonder, just because of a couple of issues that I've got. The only thing really with Wild Blue Yonder is the CGI and the pre-credit scene, which doesn't really add anything to the episode. But overall, still a cracking bit of telly. Not saying the others were bad. I still really like The Giggle. Starbeast is probably my least favourite of 3, but even that is still really good.
Yeah. No, it was... Yeah.
So to have, 3 episodes and even the worst of the 3 still being an 8 out of 10,
That's not exactly bad.
That's pretty good going.
Yeah.
I think the episodes themselves were perfectly as episodes, as a little mini series. It's a celebration of like, hey, you know, when Doctor Who was massive, like 15 years ago with David Tennant and Catherine Tate. Not trying to slag off any other era, but that's when it was big, like really big. Let's do that again. You know, there's a couple of little cheeky references and stuff in there. Spiritually, it just felt like the show that I watched when I was a kid.
Yeah.
It wasn't taking itself too seriously. It was allowing itself to have fun and just roll with it and just have a bit of a celebration, but not too self-indulgent. I just think that there could have been a bit more to celebrate the classic era, but then I suppose we did get some other stuff around the anniversary to do that. Tales of the TARDIS. You know, I think if we were to start talking about the anniversary celebrations, really, that's kind of where we sort of begin, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, the launch of the Whoniverse on iPlayer, which is still a phenomenal achievement.
Oh, I know. I loved it. Just seeing the old Doctors come back to do that with their companions as well was bloody lovely. That interaction between Joe and Clyde was brilliant. And I don't think this episode's needed an old Doctor to come back, because we'd had our classic Doctors come back in Tales of the TARDIS. So they kind of did the right... I think it would have been too much of a good thing had they cropped up in the episodes.
I think a little bit maybe would have been nice, but still, I can see why they did it. And like, we do have
Paul McGann.
I love all of them, but we need more McGann on telly, though. You know,
yes, we do.
If there was a pie chart, he's like just a tiny little slither. But Tales of the TARDIS really it succeeds for me in a way because it celebrates the show. It's, you know, it's there as, look at how far the show's come. Look at these characters. Isn't it fun to see these? Like, look, here's Vicky and Stephen, who you haven't seen since the middle of the 1960s. Ta-da! And they're back again, like that, straight back into their characters. It worked for me. It was moving. It was funny. It was just a good laugh. It's a great way of getting people into the classic series. You know, those stories are quite good introductory stories to pick out for people who haven't necessarily seen a lot of Classic Who. So I think overall, Tales of the TARDIS was a success.
Oh, 100%. And I really hope they do more.
Yeah.
Because I really enjoy sitting down and watching them. I mean, when they announced it, it kind of felt a bit more... like you'd watch, say, the first episode, which was like 20 minutes, then you'd have a little interval where they're chatting to each other about...
Yeah, I thought they were going to pop up more through. I didn't imagine it to be bookended.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind it being bookended, but the way it was sort of sold to us was it'd be a bit more of a...
There's a bit more original content that we got. They do a good enough job slapping the episodes together and giving us a bit at the end and stuff. And, you know, I remember I was still getting sucked into the stories. Like, I remember watching Curse of Fenric, and I got that sucked into it, that when it finished and it goes back to the widescreen aspect ratio, and I was like, oh god, yeah, of course, I forgot this was going to happen, because I've just got that. And if that's doing it to me, and I don't know how many times I've seen Curse of Fenric, it must be close to about 50 billion at this point. But
it is a good episode.
It's great. You know, that's going to be really good for new fans to go into the classic series, or just new fans in general. We've got that big hub now on iPlayer where it's all the Whoniverse stuff is collected in there. There's a great film about Delia Derbyshire, which I didn't think I would enjoy anywhere near as much as I did, but it's a really, really good film. Very much recommend checking that out. Sort of chronicles sort of the struggles that Delia Derbyshire had in trying to sort of be taken seriously within the workshop, and how she was, you know, under a lot of pressure to get things done, and how the whole department wasn't really taken very seriously, as well as, you know, her personal struggles as well. It's a very good film. I hadn't seen that before. Have you seen that?
No. I think I will give it a watch. I've got a lot on my watch list.
It's very, very, very good. You know, and we've got a lot of Confidential on there, which is always good fun to go and watch every now and then. Totally Doctor Who, which I haven't seen since it was first on, and I haven't actually had a chance to check it out yet. Now it's on iPlayer, but probably will put a couple of episodes on at some point just to
it's
relive
going to be a long Christmas break.
True. It's going to be, we're going to be back into proper hiatus feelings after. I mean, I was lost last Saturday, and that was the first Saturday we haven't had it on. Between Christmas and the new series is going to feel like a while again. But it's not 13 months, so we've got to be grateful for something.
Yeah, I mean, we'll probably, in the Christmas special, probably get out, the Doctor will return in the spring.
Yeah, I imagine there'll be some
point in January, February, it will give a date, I reckon.
Yeah. We'll find out soon enough, won't we? The Whoniverse is great, you know, to have all of everything that's on there as well is very accessible to people, because it's subtitled, it's audio described, the sign language of everything that's on there is all there in those formats, so anybody really can enjoy it. you know, unless you don't like Doctor Who, but then why would you be watching it? But like anybody who wants to watch it or experience it in some way can do that now, which is a massive feat when you think about all the stuff that's been put on there.
Oh yeah, no, I mean you got all the spin-offs from previous years.
Yeah.
On top of everything Doctor Who related, like Confidential as well, totally Doctor Who. The show itself, the proms, the audios as well. They did release as well some of the missing episodes on BBC Sounds.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
so I've listened to Dalek Master Plan on that.
That's good, isn't it?
Yeah, I really enjoy that. You get the what is it? What's the word they use in cinemas for people with sight impairment? It's an option they get. So
audio description.
That one, yes.
Yeah, because it's narrated.
Why couldn't I think that?
I wasn't sure what you were going with.
Yeah, that one. So you get the audio description as well, which is great.
Yeah, it's all there because obviously you can't see what's supposed to be going on in the. You know, so it's a bit different because obviously those things are not made to be radio dramas, so they're not very well. They don't translate necessarily as well as like some do. Some don't need any narration at all, but something like Dalek Master Plan where there's a lot of action and you know you can't really work out what's going on without seeing it, and obviously we can't see it because it's all missing. I did think they were going to put more on there. I didn't realise they were just chucking through because it was that Marco Polo and
the Wheel
in Space. Yeah, I thought there was going to be more. I just thought that would have been quite handy to have all of them. But the radio stuff was great as well. You know, the documentaries were just fine. They apart from the Matthew Sweet one, which I really did enjoy, the one about the wilderness years. Toby Haydock's stuff, of course, is always worth your time because it's just hysterical and brilliant and just quality.
And that show down the bay as well.
Yeah, of course, we had a little wander down the bay, didn't we?
Yeah, we went to that light show on the bay, which was nice. Thought it would be a bit longer than what it was.
Yeah, didn't they say it was going to be like half an hour long and we were there for 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Finished?
Yeah, and it was very cold.
It was freezing because we were right at the front. And if you haven't been to Cardiff Bay before, obviously it's a big bay, but this is like a sort of they call it Roath Basin, so it's like sort of cut off. And there were these. I mean, I don't know how big it was, but the sprays were the sort of the length of a corridor. You know, spraying the water and it was back projected, and we were stood right underneath the speaker, which I think might have been a little bit of a mistake. My ear was ringing afterwards for a bit.
Yeah, it felt like I'd been in a club.
Yeah, it was a bit loud, but we were getting splashed with this water as well at certain points, and I was just like, it's November. What are we doing that for?
Yeah, I was rather happy to get out. Like after it, I was very happy to get away and get warm.
Yeah, down the pub.
Shame that, innit?
What?
Ended up down the pub.
Oh, I know, it's awful.
I know.
Another thing we got on the actual anniversary, there were 3 little tidbits as well, because we had the Bargain Hunt Doctor Who special, which was just an episode of
Bargain Hunt with Doctor Who.
Yeah, what more could you want? It was just Bargain. I've never seen Bargain Hunt before, so I didn't really know how it worked.
They go around hunting for bargains.
I'm so glad I've got you because I wouldn't have been able to figure that out. Mansplaining, honestly. That was fun. It was nice to see Doctor Who pop up in different things. I know the Daleks were quite present on the news in the morning as well.
Oh, that was fun. That was, yeah.
All the stuff going on in the world,
that.
and it's just the Daleks that were there, and it was how they transitioned to all the regional news that was there afterwards, and everyone just being like,
yeah, that
cool.
That
anyway,
yeah. We also got the colorization of the Daleks as well.
Yes, that was very impressive.
Yeah, that was really
brilliant.
done well.
I was watching it and I couldn't even imagine it being in black and white anymore because I was just like, this just works so well.
Yeah.
And the fact that they managed to cut, I think it could have done with being 90 minutes rather than 75, just to add a couple more of those slowed down, like catch your breath kind of scenes, because it doesn't stop.
Yeah, it just constantly goes.
You know, there were episodes, obviously it's a 7-episode story cut down to 75 minutes, and it just was like bam, 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 bam. It doesn't stop the whole time. And I think the mix on it was a bit off for me. Like, not saying that the soundtrack wasn't good. I quite liked the soundtrack, actually. It was quite refreshing to have a proper bit of music rather than just in the background. But yeah, I thought the mix was a bit off because there were times where it was obscuring the dialogue and things, but that could have just been my internet, to be fair.
Yeah.
But even on the soundbar, it didn't sound particularly good. But I think maybe I'll give it another watch and just see if it holds up. What else was there on the Twin? Oh, Adventure in Space and Time was repeated,
yes,
which I love.
Yeah, it's a brilliant show. Give it a watch if you haven't already. The new one sees Ncuti Gatwa being edited in where Matt Smith was.
Much more seamlessly as well than Matt Smith being edited, like as if he was stood in the console.
Yeah.
It actually looks like he's in the room rather than just It has a fun bit of CGI, you know. But I'd love to see. Shame we had to lose the unearthly child stuff. That was a bit annoying. But, you know, what can you do? We've said our piece on that. But I really enjoyed Adventure Space Time. It's the kind of thing we think we could do a proper video on and really break it down, because it's such a well-made film. And
yeah, I'm more than happy to do that.
yeah, you know, you can watch that. It's not just for Doctor Who fans. You can watch that as a film and just be engrossed in it.
Oh, it's brilliant.
It's such a
really
well-made
is.
production, and like the music, and it's just everything just works for me in that.
David Bradley's bloody brilliant as well.
David Bradley is very, very good. He's, you know, there have been times where I have cried at Adventure Space and Time, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. Quite interesting if they ever did another film like that, and wonder what kind of, you know, setting it would be in. You know, maybe it could be in the hiatus of 1985 and around the struggle to bring it back, or, you know, bringing it back in 2005 is quite an interesting one, and the sort of events around that. Obviously know that there's a few.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, don't think Christopher Eccleston would be up for being in it though, as he made very clear on stage the other day.
Yeah, I was about to say they'd have to find someone to play him. But yeah, he made his opinion very clear.
And I don't really blame. I mean, people are saying it's unprofessional what he said about sack Russell T Davies, sack Julie Garner, etc., etc. But you know, this is a man who's constantly being asked to come back to a show that he left because his mental health was down the gutter at that point and had a clash with lots of people. Then he wasn't really comfortable being there, and you know, he distanced himself from it for so long. And I just think we should be grateful that he's coming back. He's doing Big Finish. He's doing the conventions. It's not going to happen on TV. And I just think that there's other things that you can ask an actor like Christopher Eccleston then. Would you ever come back for Doctor Who in the next anniversary?
Yeah.
And him to just turn around and go, no.
Ask him about his experience on Big Finish.
Yeah.
Like,
Big Finish. You got.
Talk to him about the new stuff he's doing. Yes, I would love to see more Christopher Eccleston as the Doctor, but I know it's not going to happen. Like,
he's done more for Big Finish now than he has on the TV, you know, and he wouldn't do that if he was completely against the character. You could still ask him about his experiences filming Doctor Who, but just don't try and drag someone back to something where they've quite clearly made their peace and gone, no, it's not for me. Because, you know, he was offered Day of the Doctor, and that was not Russell T Davies or Julie Gardner or Phil Collinson or Jane Tranter. And even then, it was still, nah, this just isn't for me. And I just think, you know, eventually people just have to learn to respect that, to be honest.
yeah.
You know, I'm not sitting here like if it was announced tomorrow that he was coming back, I'd be like, okay, that's awesome. But it's not the case, and it's not going to be. So.
Oh no, if that was announced, though, I'd definitely be looking in to see what deal was done for him to come back.
They probably just cloned him or something. It probably wasn't horrible like AI, something really sinister.
Well, they did with Grand Moff Tarkin in Rogue One.
Oh god, yeah. Well, I'm glad he's still alive as well. That's just horrendous to think about, isn't it?
No, he was, yeah.
Overall, the anniversary was great. It felt like a celebration of the show for a few weeks. There were some nice bits of merch that were published. You know, Doctor Who magazine put out a lovely, like big 200 odd page souvenir special thing, which I'm still reading now and is a really, really good read. I haven't managed to actually listen to the Big Finish 60th stuff yet. No, I've heard very mixed things on it. You know, some stories are better than others, kind of thing, and I'll come around to it eventually.
I mean, that's all subjective, though, really, and it's down to the person. It's down to the listener on that one.
Yeah, I mean, I'll still get around to giving it a listen at some point. I just haven't had time because there's been new Doctor Who to review and a YouTube channel to run. It served well. It did its purpose. It was a celebration. It's not going to be as big as the 50th because 60th isn't as big an anniversary. 50th is a much bigger deal than the 60th anniversary.
Yeah.
You know, it's still a big deal. Still celebrate it, but you can't expect a 50th anniversary every single year.
No.
Like, that won't happen now till we're in our 60s. Oh my god. Till we're in our 60s when Doctor Who turns 100 years old.
I mean, I'm glad we're on the same wavelength because I was trying to figure out how old I'd be.
Well, you're, 2 years older than me? 3 years older than me?
I'd be 70 and 68.
It's good to the anniversary. It's 63 then, isn't it?
65 I'll be. Christ alive.
On that note, Merry Christmas. We will be back next week with a lost episode. Not of Doctor Who. Fury from the Deep is still somewhere behind the settee, but it will turn up eventually. But no, it's a video that we filmed a while ago, edited, and I thought I'd deleted it. So we had to rush to record something else. Luckily, it was the same day a trailer came out, so...
Yeah, I mean, that's a good save, like, you know.
It did help. But that'll be there. That's going out next week for Christmas because we're both away, seeing family, that sort of thing. So Church on Ruby Road review will probably be somewhere in before the new year.
Oh, yeah.
Before the new year, hopefully. And then we'll get our New Year's retrospective, well, I say New Year's, our yearly review out of the way. We didn't do it last year because we'd only just started and we had other things planned. And then,
not being funny, it had been a bit of a drought.
Yeah. And even that, we were only about 2 months into things by that point. And how did we survive? Because of this. So thank you all for sticking with us.
Yes.
Thank you to anyone that's listening on Spotify as well. Hello there. We love you.
Yeah, it's been a long break from Doctor Who, but when it came back, I felt like a kid again. Like when I'd rush home from school to watch Doctor Who. So I normally had to go to detention, which just dragged out my afternoon a bit more.
Why were you in school on a Saturday then? That's what I want to know. Who was kidnapped Tom and why is he in schools on Saturdays?
Never even had Saturday detention. I was quite surprised at that, to be honest, but that's another story for another day.
We'll unpick that one in the future, I'm sure. The thread will just put...
There will be hints. I hope not, actually.
Are you trying to do a series arc on a YouTube channel?
No.
Should we talk about the soft... Did we mention our little plan for next year? Have we talked... I can't even remember.
I can't remember either. Let's just talk about it now so we know it's covered.
Next year, we might have mentioned this in the last video, but we'll mention it quickly again, is that we're going to be more structured in terms of what we put out each week. Trying to look at doing a set day. That'll take a bit of time for it to click into place, but we will get there eventually. But... we'll be available on... we are available on Spotify now. Thank you to anybody for reviewing and subscribing to that. That's been a really big help. But we are planning to do alternating each week between a review and a discussion, and a review and a discussion. So the first review will obviously be Church on Ruby Road. Then we'll have our discussion of 2023 in, now that the year is over, look at all the things that happened Doctor Who-wise throughout the year. And then, again, it'll be another randomly selected review, discussions, reviewed, and it'll be, there might not be discussions, there could be a quiz one week, there could be...
It'll be something.
It'll be something that's a good laugh, basically.
Yeah.
So if that sounds like your kind of thing, and you haven't yet clicked the lovely button below that says subscribe...
do that now.
Somewhere down that way.
Down there.
I haven't got a graphic, because we ain't got the money, but trust me, the button's down there.
Yeah, and if you like this video, please hit that like button as well. It's not far away from the subscribe one.
Just up there.
Yeah.
No, where is it?
About there? No, there. Yeah.
This is quality content. They're sorry for the audio listeners. My fault. We'll see you very soon. Enjoy your festive period. Whatever you got planned. Enjoy Christmas. Enjoy the New Year. Have a fun time, and toodle pay.
Yeah, have a nice holidays, guys. Enjoy yourself, and see you soon.
Bye,
Felicia.